The boardroom fell into complete silence as I clicked to the final slide. The updated budget figures glowed brightly on the screen. I watched Karen's smug expression slowly melt into absolute horror. Her manicured nails gripped the edge of the table as she processed what she was seeing, an increase of $5,000 in HOA fees. "What is this?" she screeched, her voice rising with each syllable. "Who approved this outrageous hike? This is absurd!" I calmly adjusted my tie, soaking in the moment I had prepared for. "You did, Karen," I said with a cool smile. "The day you fined me $1,000 for swimming in my own lake." Let me take you back to the beginning. My name's David, and I've lived in Willow Creek Estates for 15 years. When I bought my home, it wasn't the 4-bedroom colonial or the triple garage that sold me. It was the beautiful 20-acre lake included with the deed. The lake, named Crystal Lake by the original owners, lies partly on my land and partly touches the HOA's community border. For over a decade, everything was smooth. Neighbors waved when I took my morning swim, and sometimes I even let the HOA use the shoreline for their summer events. Then came Karen. You know the type. She arrived at her first HOA meeting with a leather notebook, color-coded tabs, and a mission to fix what didn't need fixing. Within weeks, she sent out 17 warning letters for things like mailbox height and slightly overgrown lawns. She literally carried a ruler in her purse. The drama began on a sunny Saturday morning in June. I was enjoying a relaxing swim, floating on my back when I heard her unmistakable shriek. "Excuse me, sir," she shouted from the shoreline. Dressed in her HOA president blazer, even in 90-degree heat, she waved her clipboard like it was a sword. "You need to get out of the water immediately." I swam a little closer, keeping a safe distance. Something told me she might try to perform a citizen's arrest. "Morning, Karen," I said. "Beautiful day for a swim." "Swimming is strictly prohibited in community lakes," she snapped, reading from her clipboard. HOA Regulation 7.3.9 states, "All recreational water use requires board approval and insurance." I stared at her, genuinely confused. "Karen, this is my lake. I own it. The property records are clear." She adjusted her oversized sunglasses, the kind that scream, "I'd like to speak to your manager." "The HOA governs all shared natural spaces in the community," she said. "Since the lake borders HOA land, it falls under our authority." "That's not how property ownership works," I replied, turning back toward my dock. "We'll see what our lawyers say," she called out. "Consider this your warning." I thought that would be the end of it. Surely once she reviewed the property lines, she'd drop the issue. But I underestimated her need for control. The following Monday, I received a certified letter, official HOA letterhead and everything, charging me a $1,000 fine for unauthorized use of community resources. 3 full pages of fabricated rules, legal threats, and nonsense. I tried reason first. I made copies of my deed, highlighted the lake ownership section, included a 1952 land survey, my water rights documents, and even a letter from the former HOA president confirming it was private property. I personally delivered the packet to her. She opened the door wearing yet another blazer, this one pink. "David," she said flatly, not even glancing at the papers. "The fine stands. The board already decided." "The board? When did they meet?" "Emergency session," she replied with a tight smile. "We take safety seriously." Later, I learned this emergency session was Karen and her 2 buddies meeting at Starbucks. The threats kept coming. Daily letters, city complaints, even rumors about me building a water park. Mrs. Henderson from 2 doors down actually asked if I planned to open slides in the backyard. That's when I stopped playing defense. I dug into HOA records, bylaws, agreements, everything from the last 30 years. And then I found it. The smoking gun. In 1998, an easement agreement allowed the HOA limited access to my land for maintenance, access to the beach and the gravel path they used for trucks. but the agreement had a 25-year limit unless officially renewed. It was now 2024. They forgot to renew it. My lawyer double-checked everything. He actually laughed. So they're fining you for your lake while they're trespassing on your property? Oh, this'll be fun. I waited for the next HOA meeting, Karen's favorite event. She ran them like a courtroom, complete with a gavel she ordered online. I signed up for public comment and came armed with my own leather folder. Thank you, Madam President, I began, matching her tone. I'm here to discuss the expiration of the easement agreement between the HOA and my land. The room fell silent. Karen's hand twitched near her gavel. As of 6 months ago, the HOA's legal access to the northern part of Crystal Lake, including the beach and maintenance, road expired. I've allowed trespassing until now, but given recent events, I believe it's time to renegotiate. Karen's face changed colors. Red, white, then an alarming shade of purple. This is absurd, she snapped. We've used that access for years. Illegally for the last 6 months, I clarified. My attorney prepared a new lease. The rate is very reasonable, $5,000 per year. A collective gasp filled the room. Someone dropped their coffee cup. $5,000? Karen shrieked. That's extortion. That's market rate, I said calmly. 3 commercial agents confirmed it. In fact, I'm giving you a deal. Of course you can refuse, I added. But you'll lose beach access, and your maintenance crew will have to drive 4 miles around the lake. Board members started whispering. The treasurer pulled out his laptop. Karen looked ready to explode. You can't do this, she hissed. I can, I said, sliding the lease across the table. You have 30 days. After that, a gate goes up. The next few weeks were beautiful chaos. The neighborhood turned against Karen. The Facebook group lit up with angry comments about budget mismanagement. Suddenly, people cared. Karen fought back, cease and desist letters, appeals to the city, even historical use claims. Nothing worked. Finally, with 2 days left, the board called a real emergency meeting. The community center was packed. People stood in the aisles. A live stream was running. Karen sat at the front, now in a black suit like she was attending her own funeral. The vote was fast and one-sided. 4 in favor, 1 against, Karen. The lease was approved. The HOA fees went up, and Karen's reputation went down in flames, online. She became a meme. Her face photoshopped on the Titanic with the caption, "I'll never let go of my clipboard." At the next meeting, resident after resident ripped into the board. Even Mrs. Patterson, who hadn't spoken in 10 years, stood up to call out Karen's abuse of power. That night, a recall petition began circulating. Within days, it had enough support for a special election. Karen tried to rally support, showed up early on voting day, handing out cookies and flyers. By noon, she stood alone. The cookies were untouched. That evening, she was removed by a record-setting 87% vote. She clutched her notebook, made one last dramatic speech, and stormed out, heels echoing on the floor like the end of an era. A week later, the new board sent me an apology and a check refunding my $1,000 fine, plus interest. They offered a new lease, $500 per year, and mutual respect going forward. I signed it immediately. Then I put up a new sign at my section of the lake, private property, swim free. And underneath in tiny letters, HOA leadership not welcome, last. I heard Karen was selling her house and moving far away. I like to imagine her new neighborhood has no clue what's about to hit them. As for me, I still swim every morning. And sometimes, as I float under the sky, I remember the look on Karen's face that day in the boardroom. Totally worth it. If you believe in standing your ground, if you've ever faced people who tried to control your life or silence your truth, then you're in the right place. Here at HOA Voice, we share real moments of courage, justice, and quiet resistance. Subscribe now and be part of a space where every story matters and every voice is finally heard.